Hello, 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 and welcome back to the GTD podcast. This is we haven't filmed one for 2 weeks.
Nope.
Ain't that great? And Max still isn't here. But who can blame him? Life sometimes doesn't allow you to do hobbies, such as a podcast. So, but we have Matthew and Devin, the only two. No, Devin's the only consistent member. Devin's the only one that's been in it for every single one, basically. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got Devin and Matthew. Also, words. I haven't introduced anything. I just started going off the rails. But yes, I am the Norax and I speak for the podcast.
Just to let you know.
What?
And you are the most consistent member, no one else. Aaron.
Really? Thank you. It's almost like I'm the main host or something.
Exactly.
So just to let you know, I actually was or earlier yesterday, I think I was thinking, oh dang, I missed the last 2 podcasts. Why did I miss them? And I was just trying to figure out, like, why did I miss them? What was going on? I thought I had gone to every podcast, but I didn't go to a podcast last week, and I didn't go to a podcast the week before that.
Oh, it's because we didn't film one.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that as an option.
Yeah, we didn't film one because nobody was there to film it.
Yeah.
It could have just been me, I guess, but that would have been depressing.
A little bit.
Yes, Matthew and Devin are here. Why don't you give yourself a small introduction?
Hi, I'm Matthew.
And or mystical meandering, depending on who you ask. And also, we've got Mr. 5 channels down here.
Yeah, I am both Blington and Deliot Z, and Devmafu. Blington, Deliot Z, Devmafu, Sabre. I think that's it.
Nope, there's one more.
Really? Rocket Monster?
You've got Deliot Z, your Blington, whatever, Devmafu, the So I've Been Reading an Encyclopedia, and I'm pretty sure there's one more, but I don't remember what it is at the moment. So maybe there isn't one more. Who knows? Fuck it, I can check right now. This doesn't matter at all. But yes, hello, welcome to the GTD podcast, the podcast where we waste time. Do we waste time? I don't know. I guess it's subjective. Wasting time is subjective.
Yeah.
Yes. We have several things. If you've never watched the GTD podcast before, we're a podcast about video games and we discuss them. It's crazy, right? Yeah. Yes, we have several things coming up the show. We'll be we'll be discussing what we've been playing this week. I can guarantee you know the answer already if you've seen any episode of this series. Then we were looking at a single trailer because honestly, listen, it's been 2 weeks. A lot of stuff has happened and come out. And honestly, there is a lot of stuff to pick from. And the only thing that I really still wanted to talk about was this one trailer. So it's there. Then we'll be talking about any host topics that we happen to have. And since it's been 2 weeks, boy golly, I hope somebody's come up with one.
One particular person specifically, or me? Are you talking about me?
No, not you specifically. I'm just saying, boy golly, I hope someone. Because Matthew has decided he doesn't want to contribute. But, Matthew might surprise me one of these days and come up with a topic to discuss. I don't think he will, but it's wishful thinking. Then after we discuss host topics, which may or may not happen because it's funny, we'll be looking at the news. And we have several pieces of very interesting news regarding PlayStation's recent activities, as well as the release of a very anticipated game series. And then after that, we'll be heading on to shameless self-promotion and the end of the show. So now that that's out of the way, Devin, what have you been playing this week?
Minecraft.
Or the last 3 weeks?
Minecraft.
Really?
Also Minecraft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy shit that is.
Yeah. I
Is
don't
that
think
it?
I played any other games. Yeah, that's basically it.
Do you want to discuss anything regarding it?
I can't think of anything. Like, yeah, no, I can't really think of anything.
All right. That's cool.
Just play Minecraft.
All right. All right, then. Matthew, what have you been playing this week?
Minecraft.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. What a surprise.
Not really. No. I don't think it's a surprise at this point.
No, it's not really.
Or at least it shouldn't be a surprise.
Surprise, 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 surprise. That's 10 surprises.
I don't think it should be that much of a surprise.
Do you have anything to contribute? Thank you.
A hard question, man.
Thank you, Matthew. No, but seriously, like, I know you've been playing Minecraft, but you have to have something discussed regarding it. Just something you're interested in, something you did recently, anything.
I've been doing a lot of Bed Wars building. I built a creeper farm with the help of Devin.
Yeah. It works, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Sort of.
I think some mobs are stuck.
All right.
This should not be this part.
No,
This is why I ask you to come up with stuff before and write things down and look at what I have provided you. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, I think most of what I've been doing is the creeper farm. And some streaming Bed
If there's a
Wars.
silence that lasts more than a second, I'm pretty sure we've run out of things.
Wow.
All right then, Matthew. You've just been playing Minecraft like you do every other day for the rest of your existence. So let's move on to me. I actually have been playing stuff because the podcast, stuff in general I've been playing. So I haven't played anything this week specifically, but since 3 weeks passed, I have more things to talk about. I recently started a playthrough of the original, I recently started playing Spyro Year of the Dragon again, just because I didn't really have too much of a reason to start playing it other than just I wanted to play through a comfort game, which that is to me. I just wanted to play through it. And it's still really good, unsurprisingly. Still very good. I may have accidentally played it a little too long, since something I had forgotten about completely is that it might just be my PS2, but if you play PS1 games too long on a PS2, it'll start overheating and scratching the disc.
Oh.
So you need to make sure you don't let the PlayStation overheat and scratch the disc. This only happens with PS1 discs on PS2, though. Like I said, might just be my old ass PS2, but that happened. So I scratched up my disc a little bit. So now it has a few audio glitches. But I'm planning on getting it surfaced when I can next recently. But I mostly beat the game. I've only got one world left to do, which is
I have no idea.
Twilight Mountain.
Okay.
No, Midnight Mountain. Sorry, not Twilight Mountain. Midnight Mountain. But anyways, I was just playing through it, and I find it interesting that when I was going through it, I it might just have to do with the fact that the last time I played it was quite a long time ago at this point, but a lot of the things I remember being kind of difficult were really, really easy. Like, what's the good, like, well, not Bentley boxing, since that's just a terrible mini game, but stuff like,
Jumping?
What?
Jumping, hitting the jump button, remembering which key it is that's jump and which key it is that's attack.
No.
Okay, I always find that to be a big problem.
Well, you've only played one game. Do you forget? You've only played one game, and it's Minecraft. No, but like you wouldn't have that problem on Minecraft because you're so familiar with it.
No, I probably wouldn't have that problem on Minecraft.
I think I don't know what I would say to you if you just said, I forgot how to jump. I'm not sure.
Hey, that whenever I play Smash Bros, I'm just like, how do I jump? Which one's attack? Why are there 3 attacks? What's happening?
Yeah. But
maybe Spyro's like that. I don't know what Spyro. Does Spyro have a jump button?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's a 3D platformer.
Oh, okay.
It's a 3D collectathon platformer from the age of mascot platformers. So it sits in the same kind of what's the term? Like it sits in the same kind of category as like Mario 64 or Banjo and Kazooie, stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyways, what I was trying to get at, I don't know why I can't suddenly think of something as an example, but like, what was I think it was, yeah, there was just certain sections of the game that I remember struggling with, but like breezed through on my most recent playthrough. And I'm not entirely sure why. It might just be because I'm a more experienced player of video games now. Like, I've definitely played more games in the time since I last played Spyro.
That would make sense.
But, you know, the reason I don't bring up Bentley boxing as an example is because Bentley boxing is just terrible in general. For those of you who don't know, i.e. Matthew and Devin, Bentley boxing is a specific minigame in Spyro 3 where you play as Bentley the Yeti and Bentley the, I actually don't know what he is. He's some kind of bear type creature.
Okay.
Anyways, you play as him and you box with a Yeti. And it's really, really bad because it's like, it's like really simple. There's like 2 attack buttons for like upper, like hitting the face and hitting the stomach, and you can block your face, and if you don't hit the block button, you block your stomach. But like, it's just really hard because it's like, it's too simple and like restrictive, and the AI of the Yeti is like pretty aggressive, so it's really hard to actually do anything, and it just controls kind of badly. So it's not super fair. Mind you, I did discover a good strategy, which is just circle strafe around him. Just circle strafe and occasionally hit him with an attack, and he can't do anything to you. Because you're always constantly out of his reach, except for the one time you want to hit him where you can. So, you know, there's that.
Well, that doesn't seem like a fair fight.
The mini game isn't programmed well enough for it to be fair. The only reason, like, every time I get to Bentley boxing on all of my playthroughs, I always get real angry because it's so unbelievably unfair. It's just real bad.
Now, Aaron, that may seem like bad game design to you, but maybe it's just them being really clever and trying to make it unfair and seem badly designed.
No.
It could be subversive. They're like, we're going to make this really good game.
Much like how The Last Jedi was subversive.
Yeah. You like that movie, though.
I do like that.
Good.
However, I'm not one to... Yeah. I'm not going to say it's perfect. Hell, the majority of the Star Wars franchise is kind of garbage if you look at it from a certain point of view, much like Obi-Wan. Like, seriously.
Oh,
I didn't lie to you from a certain point of view. You lied to me. No, I didn't. Anyways, no, but
Lying is subjective.
I do love the Star Wars franchise,
Oh, yeah.
but it has a lot of issues just in general. Anyways, yes, I played through Spyro. Still fantastic game. I just wanted to play through it because, you know, sometimes you just want to play through a comfort game. Other than that, what was
Yeah.
I think there was something else I was playing. Let's see. I did have something else. I'm just looking at my thing. Oh yeah, I did. I think that's actually one of the only things I did play. However, I should stop buying games, you know. I really should, but I can't because I'm too much of a collector. I just, every time I go to like a game store or disc replay or something like that, I just can't help but buy some weird looking titles. Like, just as like, this is what I got recently from disc replay, which is a used game store, by the way.
Yeah.
I got some games that I've never heard of and just looked really weird. Like I have this, look at this. Mad Maestro. What is this? I don't even know what this is. It's just, it looked interesting, and it was made by IDOS, or at least it was published by IDOS. And then you have like Alundra 2, which is some kind of PlayStation 1 era RPG, I think, by Activision. Like, it's just some weird stuff. Also, like Rise of the Kisai. Like, who made these? Like, just really,
I don't know.
obscure, weird games that I just have.
Are they good though?
I also picked up this, which is possibly one of my favorite pickups I've ever had. RPG Maker for the PlayStation 2. If you look at it. RPG Maker, which is it's a game making software for RPGs, but they produced a software version for it for the PlayStation 2, which is really interesting to me. So I got that. Yes, that's, I think Spyro is the only thing I really have been playing, aside from scratching the disc up a little bit because I played it too long and making it have audio glitches. That's about it, I think. But yeah, it's fun. Spyro's, I guess I will say, I haven't played the, what is it called? The remaster collection for Spyro yet. So, you know, I don't know what that game is like. I've played a little bit of the first one, of the first game in the Reignited trilogy, but I haven't gotten to really any of the later games that I know well, or more. I tried to say it again, and then I was just felt like more, better, weller. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Yes, but also in the, I do know one thing about the Reignited trilogy is the fact that they didn't make Bentley Boxing better. In my opinion, they kind of made it worse because they didn't revamp it into like a different type of game or give it any more depth. They just made it really easy by making the Yeti's AI stupid. So he'll just let you punch him forever now. So I think that's making the minigame somehow worse than it already was. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Anyways, yeah, that's what
That's actually fairly impressive to me.
Yeah, it's it's really impressive. Yes. That's all I've been playing this week. And yeah, that's all for that. Whoops. And unless somebody has something else to say, we'll move on to trailers. No? Okay. Our first and only trailer for this week is the Oddworld Soulstorm launch trailer, which it's like 3 weeks old because we haven't done a podcast in 2 weeks. But I wanted to cover this before, but we're going to cover it anyways. So there.
Okay.
But here you go.
Find yourself and see. It's the only way you will know who we really are.
What? There's these rumors been spreading around about uprisings and train hijacking. You woke me for silly conspiracy theories? Damn it, there is no Abe guy. There is no uprising. We know this because never in history has a Mudakin beaten a Gluckin ever.
Yes, that was probably really laggy because my computer
A little bit.
fucking sucks. But that's fine. Anyways, but yes, that was the launch trailer for Oddworld, Oddworld Soulstorm, which is the long-awaited, basically sequel to the Abe Oddworld series. Specifically Abe's journey through Oddworld. And yeah, it's, I mean, like I've always kind of, I never grew up with Oddworld or the Abe games, but they've always seemed very interesting to me because they're kind of like, well, they're not, they're 2 well, they're platformers, but they're, I believe they're called, what are they called? I don't remember the name of the genre, but it was a very prevalent genre back in the day of basically very slow, methodical platformers that are like very puzzle heavy.
Puzzle?
They're puzzle platformers. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
You know, but like they're not like,
Afraid
you know,
maybe
they're not
that's-
like Mario where you rush through a level. They're like, you really need to take this slow. Because the original games were all grid based. So you would move a specific amount of distance based on what direction you pressed. So you'd everything moved on a grid. And at Oddworld, I believe it's Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, which were basically the two games that came before this one, both got remakes semi recently. And this is basically the sequel to those remakes of the old games. So it continues Abe's story in Oddworld against the Gluckins, which are those big business suit guys.
I just find that funny.
Yes, Abe is a Mudakin, and he fights against the Gluckins.
Do the Gluckets not have arms?
Yes, they do not. They do not have
Oh.
arms.
How have they kept control?
Don't ask me, man. There's also they control that. They have like control over sligs, which are these little things that have guns.
That's how then.
Yes, just to quickly explain to you guys and anybody who's never heard of Oddworld at all, which honestly might be a decent number of people considering how old the series is, and didn't know that it came from such a long like history. Oddworld is Oddworld is like a setting essentially. So the Odd World is like a setting in which a lot of games have been produced in, but the Abe series is the one that has been the most successful and was the first in the Oddworld series. So you had Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, which was about Abe finding out that the Gluckins, who are basically like these big business suit guys that were working who control like these, I believe it's called Rupture Farms, which is like this production plant for meat goods and stuff. Basically, were running low on meat and decided to use their workers, which were the Gluckins, or sorry, the Mudokons for that. So Abe finds this out, and you have to play as him to save all of his people before that happens and get out.
Okay.
And the game has multiple endings depending on how many Mudokons you save, because you can fail and not save some. There's a specific amount in each game how many you can save. So to get the best ending, obviously you have to save all of them. You know. And then the sequel to that, Abe's Exodus, introduces more mechanics varying on the puzzle platform formula, and has Abe going back to Rupture Farms and saving the rest of his people.
Oh, that's cool.
Because
So
there is
when you play it the first time, you can only save so many people, or you can only save
there's each individual. The Abe's Odyssey is the first game. There's a specific amount of Mudokons you have to save. Basically, there's a set number of Mudokons that you can save, because that's how many there are in the game. And then in Abe's Exodus, the sequel, which is a separate game, Abe goes back because the Gluckins there's more people for Abe to save that he did not save initially. But yes, it's a lot of fun puzzle mechanics. You also probably saw some bit of gore, because there's a lot of things the Mudokons can die to in the environment if you don't save them correctly. Yes, going back to this, Soulstorm is the sequel to both of those games, so it continues Abe's story against the Gluckins. And I haven't played the game personally, but I've seen some of the first level and bits and pieces, and it looks really good. Like, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, it looks gorgeous. The voice acting is very fun. Mechanics wise, it's fairly simple, but gets more complex as things goes on. It's more of the same formula of saving Mudokons, but there's more. They expand more onto it. So add new mechanics and new ways to save them. Because the biggest mechanic is that Abe, basically, the biggest mechanic of the Oddworld series in Abe's story is the interaction commands. Because in order to interact with the Mudokons you save, you have to like speak to them with these different action commands. And each type of Mudokon has like specific things wrong with them that you need to be prepared for when interacting with them. So you have like, wait, follow me, go through the portal, stuff like that. And anyways, that was just me kind of explaining Oddworld as a series. But
that's kind of fun. I like the world idea.
Yeah,
a lot.
I think the only other real game that was pretty successful is Oddworld. What was it called? There was an Oddworld game with like a gunslinger in the West, but I don't recall what that game was called. Damn it. Hold on. I need to look this up now.
There's Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Yes, I believe that's what it's called.
Looks like a cowboy guy.
Yeah, Stranger's Wrath was, I think, the only other Oddworld game that was truly like successful in terms of popularity. Because there was actually Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, which was technically originally the continuation of Abe's story before Soulstorm came out.
What was?
Anyway, yes, because it does involve Abe and Munch, who's like this little fish guy. And it evolves on it more by giving it like a 3D platformer instead of just 2D. But, you know, I mean, I wouldn't know personally if it's still considered canon or not, but I don't think so, given Soulstorm basically starts exactly where Exodus leaves off. Yes. Anyways. What did you two think of the trailer?
It looks interesting.
Yeah. It's on PS5. It's probably gonna come to PC at some point, since that's usually how this works. I mean, Oddworld, the remakes of the Oddworld games are on other consoles already, so I would be surprised if Soulstorm was a PS5 exclusive. But anyways, no, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say I wasn't able to see the trailer all that well because it was a little bit choppy, but
yeah,
the idea of a game where you are like that kind of puzzle game where it's a platformer and a puzzle, it just sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, just to say, you can get Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and Abe's Exodus, the original two PS1 games, on Steam, as well as I think you can get them on Switch and other places as well, just to say. So if you wanted to play the originals, you could get them on Steam, but you can also get the remakes on basically anywhere, like on Steam and stuff, you know, other digital storefronts or stuff like that. So if you want to play them, go right ahead. You could probably get them on GOG as well. You know. What? What?
No, I'm just.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you can, if you want to play them, you can GOG. Good old games.
Yeah.
Yes. That's just, I mean, like, anybody who watches this will be like, yeah, we know all of this. It's been out for 3 weeks. Move on, you stupid idiot. It's like, no, I'm aware it's been out for 3 weeks. I wanted to talk about it 3 weeks ago. Anyways. Yes, that's the only trailer we have for today. But just any more thoughts on it?
I don't.
All right then.
Sorry.
That's fine.
They're very nice.
Yeah. But
yeah, the graphics were really nice.
I don't play enough video games to talk about this.
Why are you on this podcast again?
You invited me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Anyways, yes, that's all the trailers we have for today. Moving swiftly onwards to host topics. So, round robin. Who's got one?
Matthew?
I was trying to think of when you mentioned it earlier because I was like, oh yeah. Like stuff has been happening enough that I haven't really been thinking about certain things. My mind's been preoccupied with so many different things, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I could not think of one that could really like. Technically, I thought of something that's like nostalgia in video games, but I personally don't know what to say about that.
Okay.
I don't play that many games.
I see. Well, what would you? I mean, do you have
But
nostalgia for any games?
the Lego games, old
right.
Pokemon games,
Yeah.
Shining Force,
Yeah. the
a mobile game called Dragon Veil.
right. Well, I mean, like,
Pocket Edition Minecraft.
I'm just saying, like, you're saying
I
like
remember an old
nostalgia in video
juking
games, but
glitch.
like, do you have a specific talking point regarding it?
No.
All right, you just took two words and mashed them together and said, "Yes, this
Yeah,
is something."
I was going, what could I think of? And that's why I was like, oh, I'm not really sure if that would work because I don't really have much else other than the words.
Wait,
All right.
Matthew. I know how you can do this. Okay. The secret truth behind nostalgia in video games.
Now there's a video title.
When people get older, they think about games that they played a long time ago and go, oh yeah, I want to play that again and play it again. Done.
Yeah, that's not how nostalgia works. I mean, like,
I know.
even if you haven't played video games, you know how nostalgia works regarding other media.
Yeah.
So, like, take that knowledge and apply it to video games. All right, then. How about you, Devin?
I have something sort of boring.
That's just my style.
Okay. I personally am of the opinion that frame rates and definition don't matter that much for a game.
Oh my god.
Now
Another person in existence who thinks this other than me. Just saying.
Like high definition remasterings of a game where the game still has other problems and just isn't that interesting or engaging, it's not going to be much better. But then if you have like a high definition version of a game that's already really cool, then maybe it can be better. But I don't know if it actually yeah. Like I wouldn't want to play a 12 frame version of like Doom. That would be kind of bad and not very fun.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, like, I kind of like,
but
okay, I get it. I get wanting to have high frame rates for things. I do. I don't care though, because
Matthew,
my
you
eyes
can-
can't
you
even
can-
perceive higher than like 30 frames per second anyways.
Matthew,
I see.
yes, you should pop in on this. You actually have a different opinion than us.
Low frame rates hurt my eyes.
How low?
Um,
Like, obviously, like,
His
I get it,
computer,
because like
okay,
I get playing.
Aaron, his computer has a 500 frame rate.
All right.
no, that's not that, Devin. I played on an older computer that had like a 40 frame rate at best.
No, but I'm just saying your computer
And
has
25 FPS hurt my eyes.
your computer has like 500 frame rate. It's the graphics are so smooth. It's
And
like
I can't
real
tell
life.
a difference between 60 and 500. I don't think my computer can render over 165 anyway. In my monitor.
Okay.
But
Fine,
like
it has
the thing
155.
is, like, I get not wanting to play at like low frame rates because like the lower the frame rate, the choppier the gameplay is going to be because of that. So
Yeah.
when you start getting down to like the tens or single digits, you start noticing like choppy gameplay because of the frame rate issues. But I've like never honestly, I'm honestly not sure I'm honestly not sure at what level my eyes start to notice frame rate in terms of like the lowness scale.
About 5 FPS.
I'm like, I notice like frame drops occasionally.
Mhm.
I notice like, just take Dark Souls for example. The PS3 version has a lot of frame rate issues in specific areas of the game. Those are very noticeable, but I don't know what frame, like, it's still very playable. It's just kind of like playing in slow motion and a bit choppy.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I guess my eyes can probably perceive when it's like truly noticeable for me, maybe 15, maybe lower. I don't know. Like, I can't tell the difference between 30 and 60 FPS. That'll probably surprise a lot of people. I can't tell the difference between 480p and 720p. That's just what my eyes meant. I can't tell the difference. You try and tell me the difference. It just doesn't look different.
I can't tell. Yeah,
480 is slightly pixelier than 720. And 720 is slightly more pixelated
and that's the other thing,
than
like
1080.
The other thing I get too is like, if you're playing on PC specifically, I get wanting to have the highest frame rate you can because you have this incredible machine that can do it. You paid a lot of money for it. It better be the best. That's kind of why there's like the discrepancy between like console and PC is basically like consoles are fitted objects that are made for gaming specifically. They shouldn't have any other functionality besides video games. That's just
what? No, they should be able to use YouTube and Google Docs and
so when you
can though, you can watch YouTube on your console.
I know you can. I'm not. That's why consoles nowadays are multimedia machines instead of gaming consoles. That's just that's a different debate for another day because I can go whole hog on that. But my point that I'm trying to make is that people expect PC, like PC gamers are like, yes, PC is better. Like, yes, it is because you paid so much money for it to be better. It better be better. Like, that's the thing. It's like,
I can't disagree.
Better be the PC has to be better than the console because of how much money you put into it. Consoles are supposed to be what, like, lower price than PCs because they are just for video games and are locked to that thing. They're locked pieces of technology. So objectively and should be better than consoles because of how much more expensive and powerful they can be. However, at the same time, that's what people should really think. That's like the true view people should have regarding this kind of debate. Because there are too many people who feel some kind of, like, I don't know, what's the term? Not righteousness, but like, it boggles my mind sometimes. Like, just seeing people get so incredibly angry at just going back to frames for like lack of frames, or just like not. I don't know. It confuses me because, and I completely disagree with this idea that frame rate should be this incredibly high thing to a degree, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think I only noticed a difference in FPS when it goes, since I've been using higher FPS, when it goes to 30 or lower. Because I don't really notice a difference between 40 and 500 FPS.
There are people who can, though, and that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the crazies who are like, no, I need 7,000 frames per second, otherwise I just can't deal. It's these crazy people who are just like max their PCs out to the insane just so they can have those one extra frame per second and say, yes, this is the superior product. It's ridiculous. Like the joke, because there used to be a joke, like you've probably heard the term PC master race at some point in your lives. That was like a joke. It was literally a joke made up, like the term itself was made up by like just a random, like a YouTuber guy who was like, oh, the PC master race. And he was a joke. And then people started to take it seriously. And they became exactly what the joke was referring to, which are these like literally it makes, like, you read some of the shit these people write and it's like, god damn, you literally feel like, because it's the master race is referring to like you know,
Yeah,
like
Mr. German guy.
yeah, Hitler, like like that's what it is sort of referring to. But like it's ridiculous. Anyways, that's not the point I'm trying to make. I don't yes, anyways. The point is I just think it's kind of ridiculous how much people care about frame rate and graphical fidelity. It's weird looking into it more because you have these people that's like, we don't care, but clearly some of you do. The loudest portion of you do. That's the problem. Even if it's the smallest portion of the group, they're the fucking loudest, and they're the people that get noticed.
Maybe it's because they're just loud.
So
You don't
like
say.
games companies have been telling us forever that we care about graphics and care about frame rate, which the majority of people don't. It's just this small group of very loud individuals that make the games companies perceive that the entire place wants this. And because of this like insane never-ending loop of trying to make things better and better and better, you get diminishing returns. I mean, we're already seeing diminishing returns right now. Like we're hitting basically the peak of what games can look like in terms of like realistic graphics. And like we're basically hitting the peak. I don't think it can go much higher than this, and it really shouldn't have to. Like who needs that many pixels to play a game? Nobody needs 7,000 pixels to play a game.
I think it's so that we can make a VR machine that will look just like real life, and
Like,
then put people in it, and they won't notice.
Like taking like the remake of Demon's Souls, like that game looks incredible. It looks crazy good. Like the environment is so detailed and everything about it. Like some of the environment and scale they went to for that was ridiculous. It looks absolutely gorgeous, but at the same time, it almost kind of, now maybe this is just me, but it almost feels like the amount of effort they went into the environment kind of almost doesn't work. Like the more realistic and the more detail you put into something, I feel the more it's going to feel off. Like, I guess the best way I can put this is that even like some of the most artistic portraits in the world, if they're going for like realism, still have like like shades of unrealism, because it's art, it's an interpretation of real life, it's not trying to mimic real life. Things that try to mimic real life often fall short because they physically can't.
Yeah.
So even though Demon's Souls remake looks absolutely incredible, and I know that it's not necessarily trying to mimic real life, but there's a lot of stuff in the design work that just kind of feels odd. Like it's too pretty. Like it's too pretty and too detailed for me to really have an appreciation for the environment. Like I can't fully appreciate the work they've put into this because of how detailed it is.
I get that.
And you know,
it's like if someone were like showing you a collection of old stuff they have, and it's like, look, I have this boot that belonged to Alexander the Great, and this sock that belonged to George Washington, and I don't know, all this random stuff, and then you just like sit there and you're like, you have 400,000 things. What? And most of them are irrelevant by comparison.
Yeah, it's maybe just this so kind of like
a lack of emphasis.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
I'd say that
everything is a really detailed tree, then it's hard to figure out where the nice stuff is.
Yeah, because it's when everything's
special.
When everyone's super, no one will be. So stupid.
It's a
But
good line, though.
it is a good line. It's a fantastic line. I love that movie so much. But I mean, I guess that's kind of the point I'm making, but it is very it isn't exactly the point I'm making, but it is one of those things where, like, just looking at footage of the game, it just kind of, I guess, hollow. That's a good term for it. Hollow. Like when something is so pretty and artistic, but at the same time feels hollow because of its own detail. You know?
Yeah.
It's like when you throw like, just because you're throwing detail at something doesn't necessarily mean it'll evoke a feeling. Like the original Demon Souls, for me, even though graphically it hasn't aged all that well, evokes a feeling from me. Demon Souls Remake doesn't really evoke a feeling from me.
So
it
it's
doesn't make me go, oh yeah, this is Demon Souls, or oh yeah, this is, you know, something. It doesn't really evoke it from me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like if you wanted to make if you wanted to show that there's a wizard guy, but then you just like have him be a wizard guy and he looks really detailed and everything, but he just looks like a generic wizard guy, and it's like, really? He has no personality. This is just a generic wizard guy.
Yeah, it's you know, it's this for many like, I'm not sure where along the way we lost the idea of less is more. I think we did, though. Like at some point we've lost the idea that less is more.
Yeah, when budgets became too big and they needed somewhere to put that extra money that would also earn the money, and graphics do that, or used to at least.
Well, they probably still do to a small portion of the gaming community, but that is pretty true. It's like when games companies and people complain or just say, no, this is how much games cost to make. It's like, no, it's not. Do you know what would make costs go down for games? Making them not as huge, not as detailed, and not as crazy. It's like, how about we focus on smaller experiences? Which is honestly, even though the graphical fidelity is like higher than it's ever been for games at the moment, we have seen a return to form for smaller single player experiences with like Returnal, Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank, Rift.
Aaron, what you're talking about with experiences and like things that aren't just big graphics and stuff, you're talking about indie games.
Well, yes, but I'd like the AAA market to at least care.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd give them a reason to exist.
Yeah. Because it's like, shit tons of people buy those games, but they're not as good as they could be, and they're just wastes of money.
Yeah. Do they really enjoy them? Do they become classics? Are they trying to be classics?
Nintendo is really the only AAA company at the moment that still produces like good single player stuff. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of big studios around the place, but like of the quote unquote big three, which is like Sony, Sony/PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo. Then you have like EA and Activision, which are just massive publishers that publish a bunch of stuff. Like, I honestly can't think of a lot of games that were just like not exactly like small scale for AAA standards of games that focus on the single player aspect. Outside of Nintendo. Like they did Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, they had Astral Chain, which I haven't personally played, but it's over there, it's behind me. I've seen some of it. What else have we had? We've had a lot, absolute shit ton of indie games for the Switch. I mean, I'm just struggling to name things. But like when I think of like Sony or like the other big parties for like game producers, like, I mean, EA hasn't really done anything single player related for a while. Activision hasn't either, and they're Activision Blizzard, so it's like they're a bunch of stuff. I mean, I guess Vicarious Visions, which was a publisher, a development team as part of Activision, did some remakes of some classic games that were entirely single player, but those were remakes. Those weren't new titles.
Maybe it's like in the education, people just weren't educated. People in like the video game development education, whatever, I don't know, weren't educated on how to make games properly. Or not properly, but like make good single player games, because that wasn't the market when they were being educated.
I guess.
I
mean, I don't know. You know,
single player games are mostly just indie developers.
Yeah, the indie market has exploded in the last 10 years. It is absolutely exploded and taken over every bit of my interest in the gaming sphere.
Yeah.
Outside of some Nintendo games and maybe some other games here and there, like there's barely any AAA games that actually entice me. Nowadays, anyways. 10 to 15 years ago, that would have been a different story. But we live in the year 2021 where everything is not unique and everything is rebooted. Anyways, who knows? Maybe we'll see a turn, because we are getting some like new stuff. We're getting what was that called? Deathloop by Ubisoft. That looks, I mean, it looks okay, and it seems to have an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Then you have Returnal, which is another kind of time loop type game that's entirely single player. You've got Ratchet and Clank. What is it called? Something, I don't remember. You got the new Ratchet and Clank game that's by Insomniac. Insomniac has always been good, though. What else is coming out? We had the what's it called? Demon Souls remake. Anyways, I think I'm just rambling in circles now. But that's anyways. Yeah. Frame rate. That's where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I guess going back to frame rate really quickly, we've kind of said our thoughts on it, but just like one of the things, like, yes, I get why people value high frame rate, but I also just don't understand it from a personal point of view, because I literally cannot perceive it rather. And like my eyes can literally not perceive these frame rates and whatever's, Anyways, we'll call that the Norax Aaron complains about the gaming industry for the 12th time host topic.
Hey, I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I know things that people seem to care a lot about. It's like just like the simple questions like frame rate, and then you just think it's like, really, frame rate's a big issue? Look at gaming community. Oh my gosh, there's so many forums about it. Why?
Yeah.
You start reading, you're like, oh, I see why, and then you take a side and you're like, that other side is really wrong about this trivial issue.
I mean, it's like being a medium, I guess.
Yeah.
Not a medium. What would be like what is it called? When you like understand both sides but ultimately can't understand either.
Filthy centrist?
I guess. What do I basically, like, in this particular, like, I physically cannot perceive these, like, my eyes cannot perceive these high frame rates because they just can't tell the difference. So that's just a me thing, but I also get. I kind of get it, but I also just don't get it. I should have ended it. I should have ended before I said that again, because I basically just said it again. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes. But that.
With that said,
let's call host topics there. That was a good discussion, I think.
yay.
At least we got a host topic out of it. But yes, now that the host topic's over, unless somebody else has something to talk about, which I presume not, we'll move on to the news.
Woo.
The news. So
What's new?
the what? What's new? You say? Well, I'll tell you something that's not new first before we get into the other stuff, which is former God of War director claims Sony's working on a response to Xbox's Game Pass. Now, this article is about 2.5 weeks old. So I haven't heard any. I have been keeping an eye on this one just to make sure, and I haven't heard anything else. So it's basically just a claim from him right now. But yeah, PlayStation's apparently were reportedly working on a response to Xbox Game Pass. Yeah.
What was Xbox Game Pass?
Game Pass is basically the main reason people stick with Xbox. It's like it's
like free games.
It's a streaming service for games, and they keep adding new
Okay.
games that you can stream for it. And people have been praising Microsoft recently for their supposedly consumer-oriented moves, even though they're still terrible. Because like Microsoft has still made like Microsoft is still not very consumer friendly. It's just they happen to look a little better than PlayStation right now. So people are praising them.
Great. Everything's relative.
It's
Sort of.
true. That is very true. But I don't really have too much to say about this, mostly because nothing else has come out about it as far as I'm aware. But yeah, it wasn't. It's nothing has been confirmed. It was just a claim by a guy at this point.
Okay. I guess that's worth the news.
I will say here is one quote from the guy who mentioned it, which is Jeff, which is Jeff's continued. If Jim Ryan thinks the proper response to Game Pass is to emulate backwards compatibility, PS3 games with PS1, PS2, and then also add trophies, which is what that patent suggests they're going to do, and they're also going to fold in all the movies and shit and make a streaming service. He's absolutely wrong if he thinks that mixing it with PS Now is the way to go. And that's a quote from Jeff. What is his full name? Jeff. God damn it, where is it? Where are you? Yeah, David Jaffe, who's a former God of War director.
Okay.
So there was some kind of patent he was talking about. Anyways, yes, don't have much else to say about that. Maybe news has come out, but I haven't seen any specifically, so you know. Yep, I know, Matthew. Anyways, yes, that's that really. I'm nothing. Neither of you have an opinion on this because you don't know, and I just don't know if anything else has been confirmed. However, I will say something that maybe will even entice you to. So this is
on the planet.
What?
The moon landing wasn't a hoax. The moon is going to land on our planet.
Yep, that's what happened.
That would be very bad.
It happened.
Oh yeah.
But
it'd be news
yes,
though.
So the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is finally confirmed for the West, which you two don't know what I'm talking about. Ace Attorney is, you've probably heard Ace Attorney before. Probably mentioned. Ace Attorney is a like detective, not detective, like Ace Attorney is a series about prosecutors and defense attorneys and court. Basically, like the main series of games has you playing as like Phoenix Wright, who's a defense attorney who has to defend his clients from very obvious villains who are always in the court for some reason. Basically, he has to defend clients who are what's the term? Not committed. What are they? Accused of murder, while also trying to find the real culprit by investigating the crime scenes with Detective Gumshoe, who's a big meathead who's not supposed to leak information to defense attorneys, but he does anyways. But yes, the Great Ace Attorney was or is a series of games that has always had a problem with coming to the West because of copyright issues. Specifically, the Great Ace Attorney is basically, it's Sherlock Holmes, essentially. You play as Sherlock Holmes in like the Ace Attorney style. So you're a detective trying to solve crimes. But because of copyright issues, that can never really come over to the West, because in Japan, it's completely fine to just use Sherlock Holmes as a likeness. But you can't do that when you're coming to the West. There's also funny. The other Great Ace Attorney games, which are like essentially the same kind of thing, which it takes place in like old, like Edo period Japan, I believe. So like, basically like very old, very Japanese detective of games, as well as the Great Ace Attorney, which is the Sherlock Holmes one. But all of these games have finally been confirmed to come to the West in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which has all of them, and it's coming to, the existence of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles was leaked. Evidence number 20. It contains Nintendo 3DS games, the Great Ace Attorney 2005 and the Great Ace Attorney 2 2017, which were only released in Japan. The Great Ace Attorney games are a spin-off series in the late 1800s Japan's Meiji period and Britain's Victorian era. So it's sorry, not Edo period, but Meiji period.
And that's because it has a different protagonist.
Yes, because as it also said, like Great and Britain's Victorian era with Sherlock Holmes. So the late 1800s, both in Japan and in Great Britain, both of which are separate games with separate protagonists.
Okay.
Anyways, but you might be wondering, how did they get past that copyright issue? Well, I'll tell you. They changed Sherlock Holmes' name. I'm just going to give you, do you want to guess what they changed it to?
Burlock Stones. I don't know.
Nope. Herlock Sholmes. It changed his name to Herlock Sholmes, and they probably changed any other significant references to Sherlock Holmes to random. Can I just say how ridiculous it is that is all it takes to get past copyright? Can I say that? Because it's not like they removed his fucking likeness. They just changed his name. He still looks like Sherlock Holmes to a degree, if a very anime-inspired version. But fucking... Anyways. Yes.
They'll be fine. It's not the same intellectual property.
I just want to say how ridiculous that is to a degree. Anyways, yes, his name is Herlock Sholmes.
I mean, I'm glad.
Yeah, Herlock Sholmes. Yes, it's coming to the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 and PC via Steam, so you can play all of those when it happens, which is the 27th of July. But yeah, I think it's real. Honestly, I'm just glad that finally an official release has happened for these games, because before you had to rely on fan translations to play these games. It's always good to have, spread things that were originally just Japan exclusive or just any area exclusive. Anyways, yes. Any thoughts?
No.
All right then. Yes, that's that bit of news done with. I'm fairly excited for it. I love Sherlock Holmes as like a character. I always loved the era in which it was set. I loved all of his villains and stuff. So I'm quite excited to play that when I get the chance. But moving on
If I
to
was
our
a bigger fan of Sherlock Holmes,
what did you say?
if I were a bigger fan of Sherlock Holmes, I would be too.
I guess that's fair. Yes.
I am not.
I suppose that's fair. But moving on to our final bit of news for today, which is a zinger. Now, during our last podcast, which was 2-3 weeks ago now, we were talking about we reported on to discuss more on PlayStation's decision to shut down the PS3 and Vita digital storefronts. How they were gonna shut them down. The stuff, they were gonna shut them down. All of the stuff on there you would never be able to get again because a lot of stuff. Anyways, they were gonna shut it down, and how that was kind of a bad thing because there was a lot of digital content that only existed there that you could only get there. And specifically during the last recording podcast, we talked about how a game scheduled to come out for the PS Vita on its digital store was canceled because of the stores shutting down as well. So there's that. Now, fast forward to right now, and PlayStation decides not to do that thing they said they were going to do.
Aha.
So PlayStation U-turns on PS3 and Vita store shutdowns. The PSP store, by the way, is still going to be shut down. But
maybe they're just trying to get news.
What?
Maybe they were just trying to get in the news by doing a contract because they have PR teams.
Yeah. That's why they started going back on this decision, because of the massive amount of bad PR they generated.
That's true.
There were so many people that complained about the PS3 store shutting down, which rightly to them, considering there was no sign that they were going to actually make the PS4 and PS5 stores better, or even take the effort of moving any of that stuff to the new stores. There was no sign of them doing that. So this is perfectly reasonable. But yeah, in a statement issued this evening, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan admitted it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. Sure.
Yeah.
The PlayStation's decision to drop the page was met with significant criticism. No kidding. But I'm just going to read these quotes from Jim Ryan really quickly because I think they're funny. So here's Ryan's statement from today in full. Recently, we notified players that PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita devices were planned to end this summer. Upon further reflection, however, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. So today, I'm happy to say that we will be keeping the PlayStation Store operational for PS3 and PS Vita devices. PSP commerce functionality will retire on July 2nd, 2021 as planned. When we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PS3 and PS Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future. So I'm glad we are able to find a solution to continue operations. I'm glad that we can can keep this piece of our history alive for gamers to enjoy while we continue to create cutting-edge new game worlds for PS4, PS5, and the next generation of VR. Thank you for sharing your feedback with us. We're always listening and appreciate the support from our PlayStation community. Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, it's a very corporate statement.
Yeah.
You know, because I got an email from them personally, because obviously I have a PlayStation account and have bought stuff off the PlayStation Store. So they emailed me about its closure, and also it's like, you know, not gonna be closed. So I got emails from them saying that they were doing this, which is funny. Well, not funny. It makes sense considering, you know, you want to keep them smart. But I will say, I just want to highlight the one thing that really, it doesn't anger me. It's just the one piece that's very clearly a lie. I'm glad that we can keep this piece of our history alive for gamers to enjoy. Now, I'm not saying he's not necessarily glad. I am saying, however, that if you cared at all, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Which, like I discussed last time, is partly PlayStation and partly fans' faults for even having this mentality of getting rid of, like, not caring about the past.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess this is what happens when you do something that gamers don't like. They shout at you until you do the other thing they like. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate that that's kind of the only way things get done anymore. Just lots and lots of shouting. And it doesn't even matter if the shouting is a fucking minority of the community or not. They'll listen to it regardless. Because they just can't take whatever small amount of money they might be losing. But anyways, yeah, Jim, what was his name? Jim Ryan? Is that his name? Yeah, Jim Ryan. Yeah, Jim Ryan. Here, Ryan. Anyways, but yeah, yeah. I guess I don't have much else to say about this other than just like it's fucking. Oh yeah, this isn't that old. This statement isn't that old. It's only from like a couple days ago. So, hey, at least some of the news was relevant in today. You know what I mean. But yeah, it's fucking, man. I don't know. I'm glad that it's still up, but I just wish that, like, I just wish anybody, I just wish it didn't happen at all. Or if it was going to happen, they at least care. Like, there's no indication that PlayStation actually cares about its past very much. Considering, you know, the lack of, what's the term? Backwards compatibility and the ability to play older games on newer systems, or just anything of that in that matter. But like I said, it's not entirely their fault. It's also the fault of a lot of the gaming community who seemingly doesn't care about the past either. So it's not like this decision was born out of, like, you know, what's the term? You know, it's not like the decision was born out of like there was reason for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
go.
It was born out of maybe not thinking, people not prioritizing things, and just being like, well, it's an effective decision. This is a thing that we don't need to keep maintaining.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because, like, I'm sure it takes some money to maintain this. I don't know how much money it takes to maintain those servers. I highly doubt it's enough to actually hurt them financially, though.
Yeah, probably not.
The only thing that's hurting them financially is the PS5s. Oh, I will say, I tweeted about this piece of news, but the PS5s recently were the fastest selling video game consoles in history recently. And I thought that was kind of a hollow victory, since most of the sales were probably from scalpers or bots or something similar, because it's all digital right now.
Selling them. The thing is, I don't see how Sony's missing out on money if it's still being sold.
Because companies that make consoles always sell consoles at a loss because of how much money it takes to produce them.
Oh,
Which is also why they want to produce as much digital content as possible, because it's cheaper and they don't have to think about it. Creating a digital age is the easiest way to save money in their eyes. Not trying to make smaller games, just making games worse. Anyways, but yes, that's the final piece of news for us today. I don't really have else. As I said, don't really have much else to say. It's just a thing. But yeah, anything? What about you two? Anything to say before we move on to the finals?
no.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, that's that. Let's swiftly move on to shameless self-promotion, which is the part of the show where we shamelessly promote ourselves and what we're doing. I love it. Yeah. Anyways, Matthew, what have you got come up this week, or like the last 3 weeks? What's been going on, man? Where can people find you, and have you done anything?
I stream on Twitch and uploaded a very short thing recently. Actually, a couple things on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
under Mystical Meanderings. I don't really know what I'm doing.
All right.
I'm not able to stream very consistently because my internet is a hotspot. So questionable whether it will be good enough to actually stream.
What's the name of the Twitch channel?
The Twitch channel and the YouTube account and the YouTube channel are both named Mystical Meanderings.
Wow. Yeah.
Cool.
Anything coming up this week that's worth mentioning?
I hope to stream this week on either Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Nice, good, consistent schedule.
Those are the only days I'm able to.
That's fine.
And even then, it's questionable.
All right. And is that it?
But I do remember I will be doing something Wednesday.
All right. Well, look forward to whatever that is.
Yeah.
But is that it, Matthew? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. You can also technically find him on Twitter at Mystical Meanderings, but don't expect much.
Yeah.
So, moving swiftly onwards, Devin, what have you got come up this week? What have you done in these last 3 weeks? What's going on, man?
Well, I recently realized I've had a huge flaw in my philosophy of how YouTube works.
Really?
And that's that. Yeah, I realized people actually like being talked down to by YouTubers.
Oh man, it's the best. It's great.
They have to speak from a position of authority and confidence, and then also they have to be very professional and not a we're equals situation.
Mm-hmm.
They have to really like seem like they know what they're talking about at least.
Yeah, it's generally what people like. You know, people can tell if you're full of shit if you talk about a subject you don't know about.
Oh, yeah, they can tell I don't know if people can tell if you're full of stuff, but they can tell if you're talking about something you don't know about.
Yeah. But yeah, you've
so I have I've decided to follow a new philosophy for my stuff, and I'm debating how that's going to work out now. And I uploaded a couple of random things, and I'm still working on Sabre still, because the next Sabre is taking forever.
All right.
And I am painting
Oh,
the altered magic card.
yeah.
I made fire.
Good for you.
I don't know if this doesn't look very good, but it was an accident. And also I got rid of some of the flavor text. You can't see, but I've been learning to mix paint. So this area right here, all of this like tannish thing, if you look really closely, it's come on. Light. Okay.
No.
Light.
Let there be light.
It's not working.
Well, I can kind of see what you mean, though.
Yeah. It's a slightly different shade, but that's only because it's graded differently, and I didn't get it just. I need a little tiny bit more white, and when it was a close enough color, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, it's fun. It's relaxing, and I'm super tired.
really?
Yeah.
But is that it, or is there anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, sorry. Yeah, you can check me out at Blingdon for Minecraft videos, or Deliot Z for sketches, or Sabre. Hi. Okay, Sabre is so I've been reading an encyclopedia, and those are little cool animated videos. Those are probably the best thing that I have made so far.
Yeah. Do you have something bigger that you'd like to promote, though? Like writing?
Oh yeah, it's not out yet. It's so I wrote a book. It's only 12,000 words long, and it's probably gonna end up being less than that maybe, and I have to rewrite a portion of it. But it turns out that just writing a book is like not most of the process. It's like it took
Really?
me years
That's
to finally actually
unsurprising.
finish the project. And it turns out that writing the book is just half. It's not even half. It's like 1/3, because you still have to edit it, and editing it takes like 3 times as long.
Yeah, but yeah, he's written a book, people. It'll appear on Amazon, you said?
Probably on Amazon. You will get a free copy if you are interested in having a free copy, though.
I'll happily read your book.
Yay.
Yeah, and is that it though?
Yes.
All right.
That's it.
Cool. Moving on to me swiftly. So I will continue to be the host of these podcasts. The only reason we haven't had one for 2 weeks is because of lack of other people besides me who were able to do it. But yeah, continue expecting podcasts. You can watch them here, but you can also watch them on SoundCloud or YouTube, depending on where you're listening. You can watch and listen to these on both YouTube and SoundCloud. So check them out wherever you want to do that. I have about 2 or 3 videos planned and not written out at all, because I've only recently got my sleeping schedule back in order, and I've been doing a lot of walking recently. But because I haven't had a lot of time and I've been really tired. But though I don't know when those videos will be out, but I'm very excited for the topics that I want to discuss in them. So those will be out at some point. Not soon though. I'll give you like maybe like 3 to 4 weeks, like a month or something, maybe by then. But you can find me here, obviously, and also on Twitter at gaming, the discussion, where I'll be retweeting and posting game articles and stuff that I find interesting, as well as just random stuff. And that's about it. Go check out Max. He's not here, but I'll give a shout out to him anyways. Go check out Max's Dillian Kriker's content, where he's talking about anime and nothing else, as far as I'm aware. But yes, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the show. Like, comment, subscribe, enjoy the paintings, enjoy the content,
Yeah.
enjoy the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Already said that. I'm gonna say it again in hopes that you do it. Or dislike, I don't care. Yeah, that's very neat.
Ah.
No, don't dislike.
What
Don't dislike. Don't tell.
Yes.
Don't say that.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all
You
next
just-
time. Right, guys?
Yep. See you next time.
All right then.
I assume.
Bye-bye.